Welcome to Real Estate 360, an informative and engaging hour discussing everything you need to know about the world of real estate. Your host, Mike Ambrosio, will provide you with insight and guidance on how to buy, sell, finance, and invest in real estate, and much more. And now, to guide you around the world of real estate, here's your host, Mike D'Ambrosio.
Welcome in. Good afternoon. This is Mike D'Ambrosio with Real Estate 360 Radio. Thank you so much for joining us this beautifully windy, cold, and rainy Monday afternoon, almost at the end of March here. We're talking anything and everything real estate, providing you great information and education. I have a great show in store for you today. I'm really excited to have my guest in studio. Some of you may recognize his name. I'll introduce him in just a couple of minutes. But just a reminder, for those of you just tuning in, there's a couple of different ways you can listen to our show. That is on the radio at KDOW 1220 AM. You can also listen to us live online at kdow.biz. And KDOW also has an app, so go to your app store and download it today, and you can listen to us anywhere and everywhere. We come to you 5 days a week, Monday through Friday from 3 to 4 p.m. I'm on Mondays, and we are a live show, so we love to hear your questions and your phone calls if you'd like to chime in. That number, as always, is 1-800-516-1220, 1-800-516-1220. We love to hear suggestions on future topics, guests, and any content that you desire. And if you missed any shows or want to sign up for updates, visit our website at RE360radio.com. And the RE360 monthly mixer, I believe, is coming up on April 8th, and it's at the Toll House Plaza, so it's going to be a good time. All right, enough of the housekeeping. Let's introduce my guest. I want to introduce Gino Blefari, the CEO, founder, and president of Intero Real Estate Services. How you doing today, Gino?
Good, Mike. Good to be here.
Good. Thank you for coming in. I know you have a busy schedule, and we got a lot to cover today. And for those of you guys listening, if you ever had a question about, real estate and the market and what you think is going on, if you want to know what's going on, Gino is a wealth of knowledge and, follows the market probably closer than anybody. So today would be a great day to get your calls in and ask Gino a question. He's highly respected in our field and would love to answer your questions. That's 1-800-516-1220. All right, Gino, so maybe give us a little bit of background on how you got into real estate and how your career kind of came to where it is today.
Sure. I think the way a lot of people got into real estate, I got into real estate by accident. Mm-hmm. Okay, happened to be in college working at a golf course. Developer bought the golf course. Decided to close down the golf course, build condominiums on it, and there we were building condominiums and selling them, and I thought that looked pretty nice. That selling those could be fun, and that's basically how it got in. So it wasn't planned; it just was an accident.
Yeah, so it was meant to be, basically.
Guess so.
So you started selling the condo. You got your license, started selling the condos, and then from there, where did you end up?
I started a great company called Fox and Carskadden.
Right.
Early, big Bay Area company. They were later bought, and then my Little League baseball coach, Papa Moles, called me up and wanted me to come work for his firm, Contempo.
Right.
Worked there, became a partner of that. 1997, we sold Contempo. We were bought by Coldwell Banker, NRT,
Mm-hmm.
Realogy.
Yeah.
Had a 5-year non-compete there, worked for them for 5 years, and then as soon as that non-compete was up in 2002, July 29th, to be exact, resigned that position and started Intero from scratch.
Wow. So Intero, for a lot of people that maybe don't know a lot about Intero, it's one of the fastest organically grown real estate companies. Is that correct? Is that how you say it?
Yeah, in 2003 and 2004, it was the fastest organically grown real estate company in the country, meaning no mergers, no acquisitions. It was all one agent at a time, just how you became here.
Right, yeah, exactly. Right. So now Intero's been around for about 12, 13 years now.
Yeah. And
we're number one in Santa Clara County, and
Yeah, our market share is number one based on listings sold or closed. So if Intero's listed more and closed more than any other broker in Santa Clara County.
Come a long way since 2002, that's for sure. And I think a lot of people have taken notice, and it's good to be a part of the company. So, let's talk a little bit about the market and where what you think is going on in the real estate market right now. We just got through, a big benchmark in our industry, obviously, and like many business industries, is quarters, right? So we just got through the first quarter, and maybe provide a summary of last year and then leading up to this beginning of this year.
Okay, well, last year, as everybody probably knows, was a year with very, very low inventory, okay, which made our prices, real estate, just like any other commodity, prices, an interaction of supply and demand. There was not a great supply of homes for sale, so the demand was high, and it drove prices up, perhaps as much as, 25% in some areas.
Right, yeah.
Okay. Right now, after our first quarter, what we do is we've got record low inventory, okay, which even lower than last year. In fact, if you took March 31st last year and March 31st this year, our inventory is actually down 13.3%. Santa Clara County got 2,432 homes for sale last year at this time. We have 2,108.
Right.
Okay. Our pending inventory, that's the number of homes that are actually pending, is down 25.8%. Okay.
Wow.
There's only 1,638 now. A couple of the reasons are we're pushing the pendings right through, and there is almost no short sales that used to stay on longer.
Yeah, I mean, the foreclosure and short sale market's pretty much dwindled to only a couple percent of the market, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Almost has gone away, and will continue to go away as people get equity just by your property going up. I think that their prices haven't ever been this strong, okay? Especially in like the West Valley, Palo Alto. You start in northern Santa Clara County, Palo Alto, Los Altos, Sunnyvale's an incredibly hot market, and Cupertino.
Yeah. I think a trend that we're going to see, and you can kind of add to this, is contingent buyers, right? So as people are getting, and I'm seeing this with some of my own clients, as people are getting more and more, equity in their property, they're going to be wanting to move up or, move somewhere else, right? But the only real way they can do that is by selling their property and buying something else, which is called a contingent for sale buyer. So what do you think about that? I mean, do you think that's going to become more and more prevalent as we go on this next year or two?
If we get more inventory, it will. Right now, it's, as you know, and everyone out there knows, it's pretty tough being contingent.
Yeah.
When you have 20 offers on there, they're going to want to take the guy that's all cash,
Of course.
or that. Here's an interesting thing we've got going right now in this year. Okay, and it was almost exactly the same, but if you have the list price to sales price ratio, and how close are you from your list price to your sales price? And 97% is a good number. In 2009 we sold everything at about 98%. Right now, last 2 years, we've been over 103% of the list price. So you sold your house, there was a good chance that it was going to sell for more than the asking price.
Yeah, so for example, if someone, is selling their house for $100,000, just for even number's sake, you would get $103,000 based on averages. Yeah. No, that's amazing.
Crazy.
It is amazing. If you're just tuning in, we're in studio today with Gino Blefari from Intero Real Estate, the CEO of Intero Real Estate. If you have any questions for Gino, he's a wealth of knowledge. 1-800-516-1220, 1-800-516-1220. Get your questions on the air, and we'll go from there. So anyways, let's get back into it.
Yeah, what I was going to say was many times, Mike, I'll get agents, because I know all the agents in Intero and most of the agents in the Valley here.
Right.
They'll have an offer. There'll be like 10 offers coming in, and they'll say, "Hey, Gino, do you know this particular listing agent? Can you give him a call? Let him know I'm a good agent." That's kind of normal, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, I got a call from great agent in our Cupertino office, Alana Lamb.
Yeah.
And she was putting an offer in on a property in Palo Alto. Eric Fisher CalBRE was the listing agent. This is just last week, Mike.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is as current as could be.
Yeah.
Property probably would have listed for $1.2 million a year ago.
Okay.
They had it on the market for $1,775,000. Okay.
Right.
High.
Yeah.
But not high considering everything that's going on, right?
Yeah.
And this is a 60-year-old home that looks 60 years old.
Right.
I won't say the address because it's still pending, but 60-year-old home that looks 60 years old, and she comes in at 2.3, okay, on the 1,775,000, right?
Okay.
And you know what? It's too low.
Jeez.
Okay. They say it's going to take at least 2.5 to get it. So she comes in at 2,550,000.
Okay.
Okay, which is a great offer. Well, I check in with her a bit, and I said, so how did it go? Did you get it? She goes, no, we didn't get it. She goes, it went for $2,650,000. My buyer had given up on going that high. So here's the deal. They went in 775,000 over the asking price, which wasn't a low asking price.
Yeah, it was high.
Right?
Yeah.
And didn't get it. And sold for almost $900,000 more, which is crazy.
Yeah, no, it is. So it's Palo Alto, right?
Palo Alto, as hot as could be. Palo Alto and Los Altos in Santa Clara County, probably as hot as could be.
No, that's amazing. I mean, we're seeing, I think you're seeing it on a different scale throughout the rest of Santa Clara County, but those markets just continue to amaze me. I mean, we have a lot of those emails that come out about the market updates and what, market pulse, as we like to call it in Antero. And we hear those stories sometimes. I haven't heard one that extreme yet, but that's pretty that's pretty amazing. So if you have a house in Palo Alto and you're thinking about selling, now might be a good time.
Yeah, it might be. You got to call Mike and start packing, right?
There you go, exactly. So where do you see, that was a good example of a really extremely hot market for a seller. Where do you see, real estate going over the next year or so? I know it's hard. We all wish we had a crystal ball in real estate, but what do you think is going to happen?
Well, everyone knows it can't last like this forever.
Yeah.
Right? It can't continue to go up, go up, go up, go up. But there is a tremendous demand. So I believe the rest of this year will be pretty strong.
Yeah.
Okay. And continue to be strong. I think it is. If you've been in your house for a while and you've thought about moving, you get a better buy anywhere than right here, right? So you're going to get top dollar for moving right now.
Yeah, and I think people's biggest, especially for people that are moving out of the area, it's not as big of a deal. But people that want to stay within the Silicon Valley, it's going to be a tough decision, know. And I had Tom Tognoli on a couple months ago, and we talked about that. Talked about people that now, if you really wanted to sell, it would be a good time to get top dollar. And you just structure, you're basically going to be able to get whatever you want from the buyers, right? Or negotiate the best terms possible for you as a seller, and then you figure it out from there, basically. You want to add anything to that?
Yeah. It's right now when there's so many buyers chasing so few sellers, you're going to get your terms, you're going to get your rent back, you're going to get all sorts of things.
Right.
Okay, and that's just the state of the market. Why is it like that? Well, a couple of reasons. We've got wonderful weather. Okay, and we got plenty of jobs, and we've got it's the tech. Silicon Valley is interesting, or Santa Clara County interesting in itself. 1,788,000 people. Okay, only 50% of them are white, non-Hispanic.
Right.
Okay, compared to the state. Mike, the state is at 62%.
Right.
So there's some interesting stats on that. We have.
Let's get to those stats on the other side of the break because I got to take a break. You're just listening to RE360 Radio. Gino Blefari, the founder and CEO of Antero Real Estate Services. Check in with us at 1-800-516-1220. That's 1-800-516-1220 on this rainy Monday afternoon.
For more information on today's program, visit RE360radio.com. That's RE360radio.com. Welcome back to Real Estate 360, streaming live on iHeart, TuneIn, and KDOW.biz. For more information on today's topic or guest, just visit RE360radio.com. That's RE360radio.com. Again, your host for today's edition of RE360 Radio, Mike D'Ambrosio.
Welcome back. This is Mike D'Ambrosio on RE360 Radio, KDOW AM 1220. We're talking live in studio today with Gino Blefari, the CEO, founder, and president of Antero Real Estate Services. And we're having a good time talking about the market. Pretty open forum here today, so if you have any questions for Gino, if you really had any questions about anything real estate related, Gino is the man, and he's the guy to ask, and he's been around the business for a while now, and he's very knowledgeable. So give us a call, 1-800-516-1220, 1-800-516-1220. If you're driving around in the rain, pull over and give us a call. So anyways, let's get back into it a little bit. I think we wanted to talk a little bit about some more stats on Santa Clara County and what's going on around here. So why don't you get into that, Gino?
Okay, because we are an interesting place here in Santa Clara County. I was mentioning right before the break, only 50%, about 50.7% of the population is white.
Right.
Okay, opposed to the rest of California, where it's 62%.
Right.
We have 154,000 Chinese, which represents about 8.6% of our population. 122,000 Vietnamese, which represents 6.8%. And if you think about it, San Jose itself, the city of San Jose has 100,000 Vietnamese, more Vietnamese in San Jose than any other city in the country.
Right.
And then we have about 120,000 East Indian or Asian Indian. And so that's interesting. But then if you dig a little deeper, you find 37% of the population here is foreign born.
Right.
Which, California is 27%. California foreign born is the highest number in the entire country. Next.
Yeah, I mean that's almost a quarter. That's over a quarter of the population.
Right. And Santa Clara County is 37%, so
Right.
almost 10% more than that.
Right.
New York's next with about 21%, and New Jersey right around that area there. So there's some interesting little tidbits.
Yeah, I know, and I wonder where the Italians take place in that. Kevin, that's your cue for the Godfather music right there. No, we got two Italians live here in studio. Gino, there you go. I had him get that one ready for us in studio here. Anyways, okay. So why do you think that affects, how do you think that affects the real estate market in Silicon Valley?
I think, in a positive way for appreciation.
Right.
Okay, because that means we've just getting more people coming in the old supply and demand piece.
Right. I think in a lot of parts of that too is some of these foreign, or people that are foreign born have cash, right? So one of the things that I talked about with Brian Crane actually a couple weeks ago is why is Silicon Valley so attractive for real estate, right? And one of the major points was you have foreign investors with cash. A lot of them are coming in, buying cash, investing in property. So I think that's a huge piece of it.
Yeah, it is, and getting back to that, the ethnicity of it.
Mm-hmm.
We probably don't know this, but I didn't know it until I looked it up before coming here. But 222,000 Afghan Americans in Fremont.
Right, that's the biggest population outside of Afghanistan.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I think I heard that a while. I grew up in Fremont, so
Okay.
I experienced it, and it is a big population out there. And as we know, Fremont's a really strong market too. That part of Alameda County is really strong as well. So, okay, so let's get into let's talk a little bit. Talking about cash and other types of things. Let's talk about the high end market a little bit. We have at Intero, we have the Prestigio division, and it's doing really well.
Yeah,
And
it's done excellent. Alon Pannell, the man, not the company.
Yeah.
Alon Pannell, the man who works with Intero,
Right.
works with us, was instrumental in helping us with that.
Right. So what are you seeing, in the high end market? I mean, what are you seeing right now? I know a lot of the bigger high end areas are up the peninsula a little bit, but maybe you can elaborate on that.
Yeah. Well, I think with the here's what I'm seeing with our high end market with that Prestigio group. We've been just crushing it on increasing our sales between $1 and $5 million.
Right. And that's through what channels of marketing?
That's specifically through the Intero specific marketing,
Right.
high-end marketing plan.
Yeah. So and a lot of that's basically going abroad. If we were talking briefly about foreign investors and foreign cash. A lot of that marketing not only is done locally, but also globally too, right?
Yeah, it used to be if you had a $5 million house, there's a pretty good chance that it came from someone right in the neighborhood was going to be buying in that same house, right?
Yeah.
Now there's a much, much greater chance, probably an 80% chance that it's going to come from out of the country.
Right. Yeah. No, that's amazing. Anything else? With the high end, what are you seeing? What are the trends? I mean, what are people looking for? Is it more of a lifestyle thing, or is it job placement? Is it location? What do you think that they're really looking for when they're going to that?
Sure, I think they're mainly looking for location.
Right.
You can get a pretty spectacular house just about anywhere, right?
Yeah.
But you're going to pay a huge premium when you have one in, Hillsboro or
Right.
Los Altos Hills, Palo Alto Hills.
Right. Yeah, and also nice areas to live in too.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk a little bit about. I know you travel a lot, and you go around different parts of the state and different parts of the country, and talk to people, talk to real estate related people there as well. What are you seeing, around the state and maybe even the country when you're traveling?
Yeah, and I do. In fact, tomorrow I'll be headed to Annapolis, Maryland, with the Realty Alliance, which is the big 70 or 80 of the largest independent real estate companies. And we get around, we share our current market. And I would tell you, it's very similar to ours except for the price.
Okay.
We have a huge price. But everybody's suffering from lack of inventory.
Right.
Okay. Now, I think, Mike, you get on the outside of California, they're using the weather as the big excuse for sales to be down.
Right,
Sales are off in California, so it doesn't make any sense that it's just the weather.
Right. Yeah, let's talk a little bit more about that on the other side of the break, but we're going to take a quick break. Give us a call, 1-800-516-1220, 1-800-516-1220. Delighted to have Gino Blefari live in studio today on this Monday afternoon, and we'll catch you on the other side of the break.
Welcome back to Real Estate 360, streaming live on iHeart, TuneIn, and KDOW.biz. For more information on today's topic or guest, just visit RE360radio.com. That's RE360radio.com. Again, your host for today's edition of RE360 Radio, Mike D'Ambrosio.
Welcome back. This is Mike D'Ambrosio on RE360 Radio, KDOW AM 1220. We're talking live in studio today with Gino Blefari, the founder, president, and CEO of Intero Real Estate Services. I'm really excited and happy to have Gino in studio today. He's a wealth of knowledge. And speaking of wealth of knowledge, give him a call. Let's get some questions on the air. 1-800-516-1220, 1-800-516-1220. And if any of you guys are off of work today, I think it's a holiday. It's Cesar Chavez Day, so hopefully you're listening in, maybe getting ready for Giants baseball, right, Gino? I know you're a big Giants fan. So we got opening day today, so it's good to have baseball back, right?
Sure is.
It's always a good time.
A's too tonight.
Yeah, A's too tonight, so it'll be good. Especially after when you have a lull kind of from football season to baseball, then it's good when baseball picks back up, and then, we're ready to go. You got baseball on every night.
It was 49er Dynasty weekend on the NFL station this past weekend.
Oh, yeah.
I was glued.
Yeah. I love those shows. Yeah. So let's get back into it. Okay, I know that understand you've been a faculty member at De Anza College since 1988. Is that true?
Yeah, believe it or not. Yes, 3 years in the business, and thought that maybe if I teach at the community college, the sellers and buyers will take me more seriously.
Right.
It's kind of like having a radio show, right?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. And I continue to do. In fact, this is the first semester that I'm not actually teaching on Monday night.
Right. What classes were you teaching over there?
I taught 3 different classes. I taught real estate practices.
Right.
Okay. Mainly, I taught real estate principles, the one class to get your license.
Yeah.
And one quarter, they even had me do a regular business class. I taught professional selling.
Really?
Which was rather interesting. Yeah.
What do they teach in professional selling?
Well, I used the book, remember that old book, Spin Selling? I don't know if you remember the book,
No.
Spin Selling. It talked about the difference between a low-end deal and a high-end deal
Right.
and things like that. So I just taught the basics of selling.
Okay.
A little bit of NLP, neuro linguistic programming,
Right,
how to
okay.
mirror and match, and and tonality.
Yeah, that's always, someone. You always hear about that. The first thing in selling is mirroring, matching what they're doing. That way, subconsciously they don't get it, but you're then they're more apt to respond to you, right?
Sure.
If you're doing that, so I think it's important. And for those of you guys who don't know, real estate practices and principles are probably the 2 core courses to get your real estate license. So maybe you actually got some recruitment out of that too,
Yeah,
right?
we did a whole bunch. In fact, they're not necessarily all of them at Intero, but there's a number of people in real estate right now that have gone through those classes,
Yeah, I know that.
which is an interesting thing in itself. And it's funny because I was taking a real estate practices class up at the College of San Mateo.
Right.
When I was brand new. I was working for Dividend, that developer, and they just bought the golf course.
Yeah.
And this guy comes in, Chuck Swieka, who just about is about to retire. He was at Fox and Carskadden. I think he's a Coldwell Banker manager still up there in San Mateo. And I was so impressed, Mike. Is this like, oh man, I have to get in this real estate business. I got to work for this guy Chuck.
Yeah.
You know, and I know the impact that class had on me and how it changed what I ended up doing.
Right.
Right. And if I could impact someone the same way, that's why I kept going back and kept going back. Because sometimes I would like, what am I doing? What am I doing here tonight? Right.
That's an awesome story.
Yeah.
So kind of along those lines, I mean, what do you think? You're a successful businessman, and I know a lot of people that listen to the show are, in some realm of business, and so what do you think makes people successful in business and in life in general?
Well, I'm going to say this one here, and it's, your ability. It's kind of like what makes people successful and athletes or whatever. But if you figure it out, all of them have some sort of a routine that they follow. Okay, a routine that gets them in the right mindset and things like that. I always talk about my meds. I take my meds every day, and it's meditation, exercise, diet, and sleep. Those are keystone habits for me.
Right.
And I think something like that is good. The other thing that I'm going to see more and more, and we're going to notice it more and more, and I'm studying it more and more, is your ability to get away from the distractions.
Yeah.
We have so much coming at us right now. Like I hid my phone, I put it under the papers while I was, here.
Yeah.
And I saw yours go off. You got a little text, and it's that little distraction, and that little distraction, your ability to focus on what you need to do.
Yeah.
Okay. The ability to delay gratification.
Right.
Okay, that's huge.
I think that's a great lesson, and I'm putting my phone away now. So after Gino said that, no. So anyways, we got to take a break, but I want to talk a little bit more about that on the other side. You're listening to RE360 Radio on KDOW AM 1220. Live in studio today with Gino Blefari from Intero Real Estate Services, CEO. Call us 1-800-516-1220, 1-800-516-1220. We'll catch you on the other side of the break.
For more information on today's program, visit RE360Radio.com. That's RE360Radio.com. Welcome back to Real Estate 360, streaming live on iHeart, TuneIn, and KDOW.biz. For more information on today's topic or guest, just visit RE360Radio.com. That's RE360Radio.com. Again, your host for today's edition of RE360 Radio, Mike D'Ambrosio.
Welcome back. This is Mike D'Ambrosio on RE360 Radio. Monday afternoon, KDOW AM 1220. We're talking live in studio today with Gino Blefari, the founder, president, and CEO of Intero Real Estate Services in the Silicon Valley, number one in the Silicon Valley right now. So Intero's doing good. We'd love to hear from you. Give us a call, 1-800-516-1220, 1-800-516-1220 if you have any questions, comments, and want to get your questions on the air for Gino. Let's pick his brain a little bit. Speaking of picking your brain, so let's talk a little bit about the Intero Foundation. I know, we do a lot of giving back at Intero, so maybe briefly explain, what the Intero Foundation's about, what we do, and all that good stuff.
Sure, and that's a big part, actually. As you know,
Yeah.
It is a big part of what we do at Intero, and it came about. It was way back in 2002 when we hadn't even opened up an office, and we're having a little meeting on how we want to create this great company and give back to the community. And really, here was the whole philosophy behind it, Mike. It's like, as realtors, we earn our living by serving our community. Right? That's what we do. So it was like, okay, it's almost fundamental then. If you serve the community, how can you give back to the community? How can you help them, right? And we decided we needed to pick something to help. And originally, we were going to do it for women. We wanted to help women, and then thought, well, you know what? Maybe that's just too gender specific. So what we'll go do is we'll help children in need, which there's a ton of single moms and things like that, right?
Yeah.
So we started this thing called the Intero Foundation, and we have a rep in every single office.
Right.
Kathy Jackson in your office is
Right.
the president, and incredible, doing an incredible job with the foundation. But in any case, they will bring in people that are interested in getting a donation from us,
Right.
and pitch that to the group, and this group decides. A rep from every one of the Intero offices will decide whether or not to give money to that group,
Right.
and how much. So it's not Intero writing a check by any means, but many of the employees, I think all of the managers and many of the agents understand, came back, to that universal law. In order to get, you need to give, right?
yeah.
And give me some heat. Well, you got to put some wood in first, right? So that's kind of like how it came about. And I think now we broke. We've given over $3 million away to help children in need. It's pretty. It's powerful.
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, you see the energy that it brings to the offices, and most agents are giving a portion of their commission to the Antero Foundation per closing, which is awesome, I think, and what a better time to hit up an agent when they get when they get their check, right? Yeah. But it's good because it's for the kids and they get it, and it's a team effort. We talk about, who we're going to give the money to, and those people come in to receive the checks, and it's really neat to see who it's going to and how it's going to be used.
Right, and to that point, we have an accountant. Okay, and that's it. So there's an outside accounting agency that keeps track of things and things like that.
Right.
But other than that, it's 100% volunteer. So, a huge portion of whatever someone gives goes right to the charity.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. I don't know of any other companies that are doing that, to be honest with you. So what else, besides work, because we all know you work a lot, and you're a busy guy. And once again, I appreciate you taking the time to come on today. But what else do you like to do besides work?
Well, I love to just hang out, just relax. I mean, I think to be productive in life, you almost have to schedule rest times.
Yeah.
Okay. It's kind of like I like to sprint real hard, and then rest and recover.
Right.
Okay. And because if you work too much, you reach a point of diminishing returns. You're just not any good.
Right.
And so you need to relax. But I like to golf.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. I love to work out. I'm in the gym every single morning.
Yeah.
Okay.
Early, right?
Early in the morning. In fact, speaking of work, I have two wonderful daughters. Okay. Right. They're growing up now, 20 and 22. But here was the interesting thing. I would leave for work incredibly early, right? Like I'd start work at 6:30 in the morning. And I was at this prayer breakfast on Friday, Silicon Valley prayer breakfast, and this guy was up there speaking and giving his talk, and he said something which, every once in a while you do something good by accident, right?
Yeah.
He said, your kids won't care how early you leave for work, but from 6 to 9 is the magic hours. And I was very, very good at always being home from 6 to 9.
Oh, okay.
Which was cool in the evening.
Right.
I remember my oldest daughter, Alex, who's 22 now, just graduated from CalBRE. I think her first 8 years of her life, she fell asleep on my chest, on my chair, because she had a sister that was 2 years younger that was with mom, right?
Right, yeah.
Yeah. So, love just to relax, hang out.
That's a pretty powerful statement, though. The most important times are 6 to 9. I mean, meaning get your stuff done during the day so you can come home to your family and spend the quality time that you need to. And sometimes things will come up. I mean, it's not going to be every single day, but, especially in our industry, things come up all the time. But I think that's a really important statement for a lot of people that might be too busy to spend time with their family,
Sure.
So we're almost wrapping up the show. We're going to have to take a break, and then we're going to wrap up the last segment here. You're listening to RE360 Radio on KDOW AM 1220. Really happy to have Gino Blefari in studio today. Give us a call if you have any questions, 1-800-516-1220, 1-800-516-1220.
For more information on today's program, visit RE360radio.com. That's RE360radio.com. Welcome back to Real Estate 360, streaming live on iHeart, TuneIn, and KDOW.biz. For more information on today's topic or guest, just visit RE360radio.com. That's RE360radio.com. Again, your host for today's edition of RE360 Radio, Mike D'Ambrosio.
Welcome back. This is Mike D'Ambrosio on RE360 Radio, KDOW AM 1220. We have Gino Blefari, the founder, president, and CEO of Antero Real Estate Services, has been kind enough to join us today live in studio on this muggy and rainy Monday afternoon. But hey, it's all good. We're inside, right? So life's not too bad. So, anyways, let's wrap a few things up. But I know we talked a lot about how you got into the business as a young agent, and there's a lot of young talent out there in real estate. And maybe I know at Intero we have the Provisio training program, which is typically a month-long trading program. So maybe talk a little bit about that. If anyone listening is interested in real estate or thinking about getting in the business, you might want to listen up, because we do have a great program at Intero. And what classes do you teach there too?
Yeah, okay. It is called Provisio, and you'll appreciate this. It's an Italian word, right?
That's right, like most words at Intero.
Yeah, it means aspiring to something great. So
right.
that's the title on the class there.
What
and
is
I
this,
teach
the Italian
4
Parliament?
classes. Okay. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, that's good. I teach 4 classes there. I teach the Intero story, where I cover the history of Intero and then the vision and values of Intero. I'll teach 18 strategies on connecting with people, which is a neat thing. And
That's
it's one
a
of
good class. I've taken it before.
It's one of the things that you need to know in real estate. I'll teach time management, which is huge. I would say one of the things that makes agents successful is their ability to follow their schedule.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
And then my favorite one right now is I teach this course on creating an unstoppable mindset and routine.
Okay.
Where I actually talk about kind of like how our brain works, and understanding the conscious portion of your brain and the non-conscious portion. I even get into your RAS, your reticular activating system part,
Right.
and it all ties in together, and then it makes sense on why you'd want to have a routine. So those are the 4 that I get the most pleasure out of teaching.
Yeah, no, and they're all great classes. And I think, and for anyone listening too, if you are interested in checking out one of the classes, it's not just closed to Intero agents, it's open to anybody. So you can check it out online and sign up and come in and check out the class. They're really good classes. And I've taken all of the ones you've taught, and I think, the mindset and routine one was a big one for me. And just even hearing how you spend your day was pretty inspiring. I mean, if anyone takes his class, you'll get what I'm talking about. And scheduling too is huge. And that's huge for a lot of people in business, is having the correct schedule and, doing things when you're supposed to, right? So we're coming up to the end, and maybe Gino, if you want to get out your information, and if anyone wants to contact you, they can. So now's a good time to do that.
Sure, okay. It's Gino Blefari at Intero Real Estate Services, and I'll just give you my direct dial phone number if anyone wants to call about a career in real estate or has a specific question or wants to attend one of the classes.
Yeah.
So it's 408-342-3007.
One more time on that.
408-342-3007.
And what about your email?
Email is gblefari@interoinc.com.
Okay. Great. Well, thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate it.
My pleasure, Mike.
And have a good trip, right? And go Giants. So anyways, we're about to wrap up everything. The question of the week, and if you're listening closely, you would you hopefully have heard this. What is the biggest population outside of its own country in Fremont? What is the biggest population of ethnicity in Fremont that is the biggest population outside of its own country? Email me, Mike at RE360radio.com. That's Mike at RE360radio.com for your chance to win a free pizza at our sponsor, Giorgio's and Frankie, Johnny, and Luigi's. Hope you guys enjoyed the topic today. I know I did. Listen in Monday through Friday. This is Mike D'Ambrosio signing out. If you ever need anything from me, MikeSellsSiliconValley.com, MikeSellsSiliconValley.com, or on Facebook, Facebook.com/MikeDRealEstate. Thanks again, everyone, for listening in, and we'll catch you soon. Have a good week.
You've been listening to Real Estate 360 on AM 1220 KDOW. For more information on today's program, visit RE360Radio.com. That's RE360Radio.com. AM 1220 KDOW.